Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to do a quick kind of second match review of this gun since we've made some changes since the first match. We've made some changes since the last video. So my channel is all about the journey. It's not about reviewing a new gun every other week. You know, I have a lot of friends that have a lot of guns, but I just don't like borrowing people's guns and doing all kinds of reviews and doing reviews on guns that you only ran 100 rounds through. You know, it's just not really going to be where this channel goes. I have, you know, friends that do those kind of things, and I want to keep that with them. They can do those things, but for me, I want to focus on, you know, projects and information, education, maybe more tactics, and yeah, just things that a lot of gun tubers won't cover is what we're trying to cover with this channel. And I do want to kind of always include you on my journey. And so when it comes to this Prodigy, this is the second match we shot with it. That's what we're going to talk about today. But we'll go over some of the changes to the gun since the last match we shot. So we did change the safety because the original safety was walking out and separating, which was causing issues, and I was afraid that was going to happen during a match, so I didn't want that to happen. And so I got a better safety. This is not an ambi safety, this is a single-sided safety, but the ambi safety it came with was starting to work itself apart when you shot it, and especially when you use this side, it would work itself apart, and that could cause the gun to go down in the middle of a gunfight or a match or whatever, practice session, whatever. And so we just put a regular Wilson Combat single-sided safety on here. We got this eBay slide release, but we had that last time we shot as well, so that's not really changed. We did a few little adjustments to the trigger. So after shooting a few rounds through this, I wasn't quite happy with where the trigger is. Now the trigger's right at 3 pounds, which I actually like pretty well for more tactical shooting, competition shooting like IDPA. If you was really going to run a race gun in USPSA or whatever, you know, I would suggest going lighter than that. But for IDPA, because you do a lot of, let me just give you for instance, I guess, because Saturday we were doing weak hand only, and I switched hands and shot with my left hand, and the trigger went off a little faster than I expected. I still hit the target, and it wasn't a bad shot, but it wasn't exactly where I wanted it, and it wasn't intentionally supposed to go off that early. I was trying to prep the trigger, and because I'm shooting weak hand and I'm not used to that, and it was cold, I didn't control my trigger control good enough, and I shot the shot a little bit early. So that's one reason why I don't suggest extremely light triggers for IDPA. But that's another subject altogether. I might bring that up in a video or short or something one day, but that's an interesting thought that maybe triggers can be too light in competitions like IDPA where you're shooting weak hand only quite often. So yeah, now let's get back on the gun. So we lightened the trigger a little bit. We changed the safety, like I said. We've changed the slide release. We're working on getting another dot on this. This dot is a little bit small for me on competition shooting. Just a little bit harder to acquire the dot, especially when you're looking around a corner. These dots are plenty big enough for just shooting straight down range and drawing and shooting, but these mid-sized dots, when it comes to shooting around a barrier or shooting weak-handed when you're not used to acquiring the sights a certain grip or certain stance or getting on the ground, you know, these dots do kind of come at a disadvantage. And so having a bigger dot actually does help a lot for certain kind of movements and stances and the prone position. Anything you do that's different than normal, a bigger dot helps a lot. So that's just a thought. Guys, let me know if there's any kind of questions about the gun and the way it stands now. But I will say the gun is 100% reliable now. So far, since we shot the second match, there was no issues. I did accidentally on one stage when I was doing a reload, I bumped the safety up a little bit, which is common for this to happen on 2011s and 1911s. When you're moving around a lot, you might bump the safety. And I went to shoot after I did a reload, and I noticed the safety wasn't all the way down. It was most of the way down, but I went ahead and clicked it down. So that was not the gun's fault. That was my fault. It's just probably doing the wrong kind of movement, or not practicing my reloads enough, or whatever. So that was not on the gun, but the gun was 100% reliable the whole match. The whole failure to go into battery issue has been completely resolved as far as I can tell. But yeah, guys, going to the match, I was coming off a fever Wednesday, and the match was Saturday, and I had several days where I didn't sleep too good and I wasn't feeling too great. So my goal with this match was just to go and be smooth, be accurate, just take my time, and not do anything dumb as far as accuracy, as far as, going so fast that maybe I overthink something and make a mental mistake. That was my main goal, and I did do a pretty good job of doing exactly what I expected. Like I said, the safety issue where I accidentally kicked it on for a second, that was one of my mistakes. That cost me a little bit of time, maybe a second or so. It's not a whole lot, but it does add up. One time I went to do a reload, I was sitting down. Anytime you're doing something different that you're not used to, you can get mentally messed up on kind of the steps that you take to go when you're going fast. So I went to do a reload, and I was grabbing my magazine off the barrel instead of off my person. So when I grabbed the magazine off the barrel, I forgot that I'm supposed to drop the magazine out of my gun. So anytime you change that programmed process of what you normally do, it can cause you to do things like that. So I went to load a full magazine in a gun that already had a magazine in it, so I just bumped it, and I realized, okay, you dummy, you got to drop that mag first before you put that one in. So that was another small mental mistake, but those are things I don't really mind, because I am learning. I'm always going to be learning, and I'm always going to be human, and I'm always going to make small mistakes like that. So there's a few little things that I did, but as far as my accuracy was pretty average for me. It was not good. It was not a good accuracy day. It was not a bad accuracy day. I had hit no non-threats, no penalties, was moving a little bit slower than I normally do, or I was trying to move a little slower than I normally do because I knew I wasn't feeling great. But we did have a good time, and we placed about exactly where I kind of wanted to place, considering I just wanted to go have fun, and I didn't want to worry about not feeling well and pushing myself too hard and maybe getting sick again, because I was just now getting better. And as you can tell, I'm still stopped up a little bit. With 3 kids, I feel like I'm stopped up half the month, every month. I feel like I'm getting something new all the time, so you'll have to forgive me for that. But yeah, the gun did great, and I was very happy, and it was a very fun match. A little bit cold, a little bit windy, no sunshine, which I prefer to shoot in the sun. I prefer to shoot in slightly warmer weather and without so much wind, but it was still a nice day to shoot, and it still turned out really good for the time of year it was, and the gun ran great. Guys, let me know what you would do to this gun. Let me know kind of what you would like to see change on it if it was yours. It doesn't mean I'm going to do it. I kind of like where it's at right now. I think it looks great. Those of you that don't know, this is an Icarus Precision grip. It was changed, and the trigger was changed, and a bunch of other stuff was changed. It still has a stock hammer and stock sear. We're going to see how long that lasts. I don't know how long it will last, but we're going to try to keep it lasting a little bit longer. These ports and the comp on this gun, they work fantastic. So that is something I will not complain about, is the performance of this gun. You can compare it to about any other 2011, and it's going to be right there with the very best. So as far as that, we cannot complain. And just so you know, in our first match, we did test the velocity on this gun, and even with these ports, because I know a lot of people's going to say, well, you're not even going to get your power factor with those big, huge ports and that comp. And believe it or not, with the ammo, the cheap 115 grain standard velocity ammo that I shoot, I'm still getting over power factor. And we checked the velocities the first match. So not to worry. I think people worry about that stuff too much with comps and ports, and it just don't do as much as they think it does as far as losing velocity. And this gun shoots somewhere in between standard 22 and a standard 9mm. It shoots in softness about the same, somewhere in between those two. So it definitely makes a difference when you're shooting it, and you can tell it at speed. You can tell it when you're not feeling your best and you're not having a great day shooting, that this gun kind of helps you still perform at a slightly higher level for sure. It doesn't make all the difference in the world, but it does help. And but yeah, I wanted to tell you guys about the match, and I'm extremely happy with this gun right now at this moment. If this keeps performing the way it is, it's not perfect. I mean, there's still some things I would like for it to be a little bit different on this gun, and I'll continue to tweak it. Like I said, we're fixing to add a bigger dot, and that will be the biggest advantage right now for me to fix this gun to be a little bit more performance oriented. But there's some little things I would change in the future and tweak in the future, but as of right now, I really am happy with it. It would be hard for me to say this is not my favorite gun to shoot in my collection, and that's coming from somebody that has a SIG X5 Legion with the comps. You know, this is a really nice gun, and I would prefer to shoot the Prodigy over that. This Kimber ported. Now, this gun is great to shoot too. I mean, it's almost just as good. I almost like it just as good. I wish this one was double stack. If this was double stack, I would say I almost like this gun as good, but it's not. The Masterpiece Arms DS9 with the large ports. I do like the recoil impulse of the Prodigy better than this one. I like this gun better. I like the way it's fit. I like the way the trigger is. I like the parts better. But as far as just shooting on the range and the way it feels, I think I still prefer the Prodigy slightly right now. The Canic steel frame. You know, all these guns, this is probably one of my favorite to shoot at the moment. It's just really hard, and I may change my mind from time to time, but you know, I've put a lot of work into making this one kind of how I want it set up, so that does make a difference. But guys, please let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe. It supports the channel, and we'll update you more as we do more on this thing, as we put more rounds through it. Right now we're out right about 500 rounds, so that's what you see. I've only had it a few months, so 2 or 3 months, so 500 rounds. Wasn't very reliable. It's becoming more and more reliable as we tweak it, as we tune it. And this is an awesome shooter. If you want a project gun, get you one of these, or get you I think if you want something that may be a little bit more reliable out of the box, get you a Mac from, you know, T-Sauce from Turkey. Get you one of those, the new ones that come out with the comps. They're going to be coming out pretty soon. Get one of those. Or get you a 2311 Gearson Match X. Those would be pretty cool to work on. Just realize that any of these guns that are in the $1,100 range just might need some work done. So, especially if it's a Prodigy. I'm just coming from experience here. But, yeah, anything under $1,200 that's a 2011, you might have to do some things to get it where you want it. Not saying it may be pretty reliable, but you're probably going to have to do something to get it where you're really happy with it. Whether it be trigger weight or certain parts, you know, like safeties or slide releases. There might be something on the gun grip, mag well, you know, there might be something on the gun sights that you might want to fix, because they're going to be a budget gun. So just be prepared for that. But anyway, like I said, please like and subscribe. Leave comments below. Help support the channel more than you know. God bless. Have a great day. Alright guys, we just wanted to go over match footage and kind of tell you what's going on. Kind of share with you some of the mistakes we made. So here you can see, I'm going to draw and do 2 per target. I did okay. My transitions are a little bit slow here. This was a headshot on the left, and so that made you take a little bit more time right there. Headshots on the left on these set as well of targets. So not too bad. No major mistakes with this stage, just a little bit slow, which was okay. Kind of what I was expecting. Okay, here you draw and you shoot on the right and the left. So I did 3 shots to kind of burn up some rounds, and had a little bit of hiccup where I was trying to decide what I was going to do there. I did 2 headshots on both of those 2 and headshots on these as well. I think I was all A zones there in the circle. So this stage was pretty straightforward. Targets were a little bit further back, so I was trying to burn some rounds, so I shot an extra shot on each of these targets. I missed the steal the first time and did okay on this last target. Over here, also did 2 per target instead because I didn't need to burn any rounds here. I also had to shoot this steal twice. For some reason, I guess I just wasn't taking enough time on that first shot. My accuracy was not completely there. This is, I think this was one to the body, one to the head, and I went ahead and shot all 3 bodies and then all 3 heads on the first set because they were in the open. This one we had to slice the pie, so we went body, head, and did a reload. It was a little slow on the reload, but overall not too bad, just going a little bit slower than I probably should have been. Not too bad. Stage 5, the most difficult stage. You had to start, and I had to take the safety off and shoot with my left hand, switch hands. And on that first shot, that's where I kind of pulled the trigger faster than I meant to because I'm not used to shooting with my left hand as much. Here, I tried to reload, and I had the empty mag still in the gun, so that kind of threw me off and took about an extra second. Sometimes when you're shooting weak hand and doing weird stuff, it can throw you off and make you do things you don't expect to do, so that's just part of it. This stage was kind of interesting, having to do it for everything from sitting down kind of throws you off a little bit. Not too bad of a stage. I definitely think I could have sped up a little bit and probably done almost as good if I would have went a little bit faster. But overall, I was pretty happy with my performance on this stage. Every stage was kind of just pretty much average as far as speed. Nothing great, nothing bad. I guess stage 5 was the hardest one of the day. But I hope y'all have a great day, and here we get some jokes going on. So we had a great match. God bless y'all. Y'all have a great day. Please like and subscribe.